Good afternoon. What a warm welcome. Thank you. We got a very vocal and loud supporting group. That makes for double the energy. Thank you. Thanks for joining our session on technology-driven rural transformation. And hopefully you will see in today's session how our power of 500,000 alumni community is applying the technology to transform rural India and also bringing that same technology to serve underserved communities in US. Before I do that, I would like to take this opportunity to recognize one of the founding members for the lifetime contributions and driving wheels forward for the last 15-20 years. My close friend and colleague, Ron Mehta, I would like to invite him to come to the stage. And I would like Hiten to give the award to this wonderful individual who not only has supported Wheels, but also has been leading our sister non-profit, Wheels India Nishwarth Foundation, and driving great investment by one of our fellow Wheels member, Chirag Patel, to drive research and innovation in IITs for the greater good of India. Thank you. Please. Thank you. Please come here. Thank you, Ron. And this is a bag for you to keep it. Thank you very much. So friends, many of us have grown up, we had early childhood in that wonderful India. This is a picture where I grew up in a small village in the Aravali districts in Rajasthan. Had wonderful memories of just going few hundred meters, picking up some fresh fruit, enjoying the clean air. Great memories. But guess what? Fast forward just about 2 years ago. This is the same landscape. And this is how things are changing in many parts of rural India. To me, rather than complaining and grumbling about, I saw a huge opportunity in Wheels to do something about it. This is the same call we had from our ex-president Abdul Kalam when he addressed in the same city about 17 years ago and asked, have we done something for our communities, for our rural colleagues? And that was the calling which led to creation of Wheels Global Foundation as our collective social impact platform to see if we can channelize our collective power of that 500,000 most accomplished alumni community. Briefly, we have set out a goal of impacting at least 20% of India's rural and adjacent communities by 2030. We are doing that by engaging our alumni community and impact partners in all over India. And we are looking at a holistic approach to transform the rural India, and that's why the topic today, technology-led transformation. Because when you look at the areas we have focused on, so the Wheels acronym is nicely aligned with the 6 areas of our focus: water, health, education, energy, livelihood, and sustainability. No surprise, because all of these areas are highly intertwined. You cannot solve the problem in energy without education. You cannot solve the problem in health without having access to electricity. So these areas are highly intertwined, and these are also the areas when you want to solve these problems at scale, you need access to technology, innovation, and entrepreneurial frameworks. And guess what? Those are exactly the strengths of this IIT alumni community. That is what we have lived for through our IIT education, through our 30 years of corporate life. So we created Wheels as a non-profit entity, as a means to channelize that collective resources. So Wheels, as I said, we started our journey in 2006. Many of our founding members, Ron, Suresh, Hiten, are in the room. And from that humble beginning, we have really come of age. we have set, as I said, we have set out a mission worthy of the IIT brand. We have a unique structure. Everybody in Wheels not only is a doer, but they are also contributing their treasure. They contribute funds, and every dollar which comes from our donors, that 100% goes to the impact, because all the operational expenses are taken care of by the Wheels board members and trustees. We have built Wheels now to be relevant to all of you, whether you care about health, whether you care about education, whether you care about water, and if you want to care about your own community where you grew up, if you want to leave a legacy, now we have opportunity for all of you to take a solution which you care about, to apply to your own village, to your own community, and leave a legacy. And the initiative we have selected, they are relevant to every corner of the country, and they have a runway available to touch at least 5 to 50 million people. And that is the scale people expect from this IIT brand. Also, it is an opportunity because the way we are going about selecting initiatives are ones which have either involvement of an alumni or involving an innovation from one of our IITs. So it makes it fun to be involved in the giving back, at the same time have a chance to network and be engaged with our IIT system itself. So Wheels is ready for all of you to exercise a choice of action and shift life's trajectory from takers to givers. As I said, our model is to do it through the capacity on the ground. All of us are 5,000 miles away, 10,000 miles away. We have a day job. For us to be able to achieve that mission, we need to build a coalition of strong partners. So we have already 90 plus partners, and a large majority of them are also our own alumni, created, driven, led, supported impact entities. So there's a huge amount of work being done by our own alumni community, and if we can come together to scale them, we can easily achieve that 20% impact. So let me give you some examples to make it real, and as you will see, each of these problems are benefiting from the technology, from our business depth, from our partnership, and they are bringing together many, many domains to have a holistic transformation of rural India. So this is an example of the water issue in Himachal Pradesh, a Himalayan country where you would expect a lot of water, but 5 decades of neglect of the catchment areas has resulted into 60% of the underground aquifers not having enough water. You can't solve it just by dredging few trenches here and there. So this is a perfect example of we applying technologies from 2 private entities, PSI and Aquadem, complementing with IIT Roorkee's strength in fluid dynamics and flow measurement, and creating a technology solution to rehabilitate underground aquifers across the state. And then we leverage public resources from the government, where they had ample feet on the ground, ample budget, but not necessarily designed to collaborate with each other. So we invested in collaborative platform to create a forcing function for those ministries to cooperate and at the same time benefit from the technology solution we created. Net result, we are able to bring down unit cost of an aquifer rehabilitation from 10 lakh rupees to mere 1 lakh rupees. And with far more accuracy, far more durability of the solution. So that public-private partnership is a great example of how we can transform and solve many problems at a scale. By the time the phase 3 is done, we would have impacted 6 million lives. Another example in the education domain, leveraging this time power of the innovation from our own IIT Bombay. IIT Bombay has created this wonderful platform called Spoken Tutorials, very simplistic name, but amazing, probably one of the most powerful technologies I have seen to take any complex problem, communicate across hundreds of millions of people at a fraction of cost and at a speed unparalleled. So this platform is being applied to take IT enablement skills to various segments of the society, whether it is 100 schools network of Navodaya schools, whether it's a tribal schools of girls, or whether it is prisoners. And we are connecting these learners then with the jobs through the job fair. So you can see again technology from IIT, applying it to the large networks, and achieving impact, this solution has already touched 7 million lives. It can be taken to 300 million people in India. Another example of taking our technology, we are leveraging the research by one of our extended network of professionals, this time a doctor. We have Health Council, which has 60 doctors in our Wheels family. One of the doctors came up with the discovery that malnutrition is not because of mothers being anemic, but because their milk supply is not getting to the babies. Only 28% is getting to the babies because of the poor breastfeeding technique. A training problem, a communication problem, which we can fix by taking our platform technology called Spoken Tutorial. So with the collaboration between health experts, between our technology experts, we have now partnered with MP, Madhya Pradesh government, in a public-private partnership to apply this solution to entire state of Madhya Pradesh, impacting 10 million lives, 10 million mothers and babies. This is what we call impact at scale. This is what I call the public-private partnership. This is what I call leveraging our power of technology from the system, IIT system. Another example where we are applying our innovation, IIT Kharagpur alumni Murli Mudaganti, after corporate life for 25 plus years in building delivery centers, IT outsourcing business, he took the same learning, shifted to impact life, built this model of People Shore, which is taking the power of IT delivery at a quality, ISO quality, bringing that to rural India, establishing these delivery centers in tier 3 and tier 4 cities to enable the rural youth not having to go to larger cities. They don't need to migrate. They can get good paying jobs, they can learn the business skills, and they can deliver these IT services at ISO quality. And guess what? The corporate customers benefit with a lower cost structure. It's a win-win, and it creates jobs, and it creates opportunities in the rural India. So we have, this model has been taken to now 14 centers in 8 states in India. We are replicating the same model in US, already in 5 locations, starting with the San Jose to Pine Bluffs in Arkansas, Brooklyn, New York, and then Clarksville, Mississippi. And there's an opportunity for this to be taken to at least 200 centers. Many of us work in the corporate America. Each of us can help expand this to hundreds of Fortune 100 companies. So let me provide one more example of how we are tackling the transformation need in rural India. We have worked with IEEE, Smart Village Division, to take our integrated approach of transforming the rural communities by enabling them with technology-driven rural enterprises, enabling them with the training, the tools, and multiplying their production capacity 3-fold, 5-fold. So this solution is already being deployed in 6 villages, in a cluster of villages, so we can have enough scale, and helping the rural communities benefit from the access to digital technologies. You see the kiosk in the picture, and then enabling by the tools and then processes, so they can convert their raw materials into end products and capture the value. So I just gave 4 examples. Believe it or not, these 4 examples are just a snapshot, but by maybe 50, 60, 80 doers. What can we achieve if we can have all the 500,000 participate in this? I don't see why not. And that is the opportunity we have. How you can be involved in that? There are dozens of ways. You can be part of our trustee group, our biggest cheerleaders. You can be part of our thought leaders in the vertical councils in each of the 6 domains. You have a lot of intellectual expertise to contribute. You can be our ambassadors. We already have a group of young ambassadors who are leading our solutions, taking them to different parts of US. We have one of the ambassadors taking our spoken tutorial solution to Washington, DC prisoners. We have advisor role where if you don't have capacity to contribute full-time. You can be bringing your expertise, advising our impact entities, advising our young entrepreneurs. You can, if you want, you can go to field and spend time for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. There's no substitute to actually working with these beneficiaries. I have been to about 20 of these. I'm leaving this afternoon to visit about 12 of those. It's the most inspiring interaction you can have. You can be the connector. We are constantly discovering new innovations, new impact work, simply by that introduction. So there are dozens of ways. Funds is just a small one portion of it. As one of my favorite Wheels leaders, Suresh, says, it's a time, treasure, and talent. We need all of that to make impact. And while doing it, often it amplifies your own stature, your own bio, your own resume. I'm going to skip this in the interest of time and invite Suresh, my colleague, Wheels Vice Chairman, to take you through one impact innovation contest we launched very recently, where Wheels West chapter team, I think many of the members are in the room, Niharika and Rishikesh and Abhishek and Atal, they came up with the idea of this impact innovation challenge. They designed it, they launched it. In a short 3 weeks of time, we received 35 entries. And this is all of us. This is not somebody else. These are the innovations by IIT alumni across the country and in US too. You will see in the 3 awards we selected for winners. With that, let me invite Suresh to share some of these exciting awards. Suresh, Wheels Vice Chairman, accomplished leader with many exits, and our inspiring pillar. Suresh, please.
Thank you.
Yeah, so if we have any contestant in the room, would love to have them stand up. Thank you, Suresh. Please carry on.
Thank you, Ratan. Just to sort of emphasize the passion with which he's doing this, he's literally waiting till the last minute so he can catch a 5 o'clock flight to India and, go and address all those villages and places that he has promised to be at. So thank you very much, Ratan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, all of you.
I'll make sure that your present from the organizers is sent back to New York with the Sushil and the group here that will take it back.
Thank you.
So
thank you all of you. Thank you.
So let me start off by just adding 1 or 2 important points. When Chirag Patel stepped up and made a pledge of $10 million to follow things that he and his wife Preeti wanted to do, we had to find a way in which we can make that program successful. And you saw Ron Mehta take the lead, and he has done a phenomenal job of making sure that every penny from that $10 million is used in a meaningful way. He has, so the point here is that if there are technologies that don't exist, invent them. And we have the resources to do that, people sitting here. We have people like Raj Shah and others from the medical community to advise us on the right thing. The children's nutrition program that Ratan mentioned was spawned by WIN Foundation. Ron actually gave research projects to IIT Gandhinagar, to IIT Kharagpur, to IIT Bombay to develop new technologies that can be scaled at cost, okay, to deploy. And this award was inspired by something that they did several times called the Vishwakarma Award for innovation in water, which Ron is personally very passionate about, and actually got Wheels involved first in Hyderabad and other places where we did a lot of about 12 or 14 projects for we using reverse osmosis, and we also did about 120 projects during the Swachh Bharat movement for making toilets available in various, and thanks to Ron. So let's give him a big round of applause for, thank you, Ron. You've been the inspiration. So how do you generate new ideas and new thoughts. And the best way to do it is to have such competition, because there is no dearth of ideas. There is amazing that when you talk to 10 people in this room, I'm sure you will leave the room with 100 ideas on how technology can be used for rural transformation. Okay? So along the way, we've learned a lot of lessons. We are teamed with an organization called Mission Samriddhi, which is run by a gentleman by the name of Arun Jain, who has developed design learning techniques. I'm sorry? Design thinking. And of course, some of the basics came out of Stanford University, which has Ideal Village program, who are partnered and a strategic partner with Wheels. And we have done joint programs for the last 3 years, last 3 or 4 years, including a large conference in Benares. And also, there are 2 important milestones that I want to mention. One is that Niti Aayog, after extensive search, has appointed Wheels as their strategic partners for technology transfer from the IITs to all the NGOs. And that's one. The impressive results that we got from the Haryana experience, the Himachal Pradesh experience was presented to the economic advisor to the Prime Minister, and that project was personally presented to the Prime Minister. So lots of credibility there. So the 30 plus submissions that we got was put together with a group of volunteers. They used a very rigorous process of evaluating these projects based on scalability, applicability, and past performance. And based on that, I want to first go through the 3 winners. And the first one is Praveen Bisht, alumnus of IIT Delhi. It's an award of $5,000 to take a program called Saukyam. And it's a sustainable model to scale the production and distribution of sanitary napkins in villages where a lot of young women drop out of school and stay at home because they don't have access to a basic requirement that they all have. And Saukyam has innovated a way of using banana fibers and eliminating plastic and eliminating imported wood chips that are used in the manufacturing of sanitary napkins. So please give a round of applause to Praveen Bisht. He's not here. He's based in India. So there's a short 55-second clip. So if you can just roll that, I would appreciate it. I think I have to, oops. Where is that? I'm sorry, I'm a substitute pitcher out here because we did not know exactly what time this event was going to be held.
Hi, this is Praveen with Saukyam Reusable Pads. Our team is fighting period poverty not only in India but also in Nepal, Malaysia, Mexico and South Africa. We are the first team to use banana fiber, which is agro waste, for producing reusable sanitary pads. And in India, we have the largest production of banana. Our ask from the IT community is, please invite us to your home state in India. We're already working with over 10 states. And also in your organization, if you have a volunteer program or a matching grants program, please add Saukyam to it. And finally, if you have professors who are interested in doing research studies to see the use of reusable pads and how it helps us with our environment, please have them contact us. And I would like you to motivate women in your life to switch to reusable. Thank you so much.
Simple idea that is highly scalable. During COVID, thanks to Sushil Bhatia, who is here in the audience, and his brother Arun Bhatia, he gave us money to work with Rotary Club in Gujarat in Gujarat to manufacture masks. So we bought 24 sewing machines. Rotary Club trained the ladies there to start their own enterprise to manufacture masks, and for a simple investment of about $10,000, 5 from us and 5 from Rotary Club, they produced masks during COVID and created jobs amongst these 24 women. So that's how you come across simple. We are not talking about very complicated AI, and there might be AI involved in sewing machines, but they don't need to know that. They don't need to know how a watch is made to tell time. So we know how to apply the technology to which can be scaled. So the second prize goes to an organization, School in a Box, by Mohini Foundation, also in India, And it's a technology to make all academic material available to village children without access to the internet. Okay? And they do it by, well, they do need access to download all the teaching materials, all the materials, but they can do all the work offline. Okay? So it's a structured library with materials downloaded offline and accessible in multiple ways. So there's a short clip. It's an award of $3,000, and the founder of that is a gentleman by the name of Arvind Thandi, and he's done this together with folks from IIT Kharagpur, and there are 300,000 students who have benefited by this program of downloadable teaching materials or learning materials. There's a short video clip. Let me play that.
Hello everyone, I'm Arvind Thanvi representing Mohini Foundation, which works for Right to Quality Education for underprivileged section. Effective last mile delivery in digital empowerment is a key challenge due to lack of internet. We are addressing this challenge through our frugal innovation called School in a Box. It's an offline knowledge server creating child-safe, fast, free forever, local language first e-learning ecosystems in government schools and hostels. We are currently empowering over 450 government schools, hostels, communities covering 8 vernacular languages across many states in India. Unfortunately, majority of the needy schools and hostels are located in areas which gets very little to no funding support from government or CSR. There is a need to endorse these remote areas beyond boundaries set by the funding communities. Any collaboration in this goal would be my primary ask, apart from exploring broader synergy towards social good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Arvind. Congratulations. Finally, the third prize of $1,000 goes to the organization. Which was the organization? Oh yeah, Know Nothing by NOBA. Know Nothing, throw nothing for don't throw nothing. Know Nothing is my interpretation of what it is. It is Throw Nothing by NOBA, and they are based here in California, and also do work in Princeton, New Jersey, and it's a great organization. They have put together a social media based method for exchanging goods that people in cities don't need anymore and give it to people who need it. Okay? So they've created this ecosystem leveraging social media techniques of connecting those who want to get rid of stuff to people who are looking for that stuff, which is a great service for the underprivileged and who need it. And we have the gentleman who started this program from NOBA, Mr. Jawahar, please come. There's a little certificate. Jawahar, thank you very much. Yeah, you too. Thank you very much. Thank you. Which IIT are you from? Bombay. Oh. Why did I even ask? So this, I hope, is inspiration for you all to see how you can collaborate with I think, let me see if I can get back to his presentation. How do I do that?
One more contestant, he was very close, and his application is being used by farmers in Maharashtra.
Oh, very fantastic. Thank you. Please stand up. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. So, I should have had this in front of me. So, I'm not going to go through all this. So, let me just say that, rural transformation doesn't happen by solving just small problems only, but solving those small problems with access to water, reusable energy, affordable healthcare, and so on. When they all put together, you transform a village. And to do that, we also have to have entrepreneurial model, entrepreneurship kind of a model around it, so people can make a living out of it. I remember early on in the water project, some of the water plants that were set up would deteriorate over time and without maintenance. So one of the things that we did was to work with an organization called Sevaks to start delivering. What is that? Oh, that's fine. We are done with that, so it's okay. That's fine. Okay, that's all right. So where was I? I'm sorry? Sevaks, yeah. So the organization called Sevaks, and I think they've got about 1,700 Sevaks in Gujarat and other places, and they were also trained how to deliver these bottles of water to villages. One of the things is many of them are two-income families. Both husband and wife work in the field while their children are at home. So they started delivering this water, I believe, for about 10 or 15 rupees a bottle or something like that, and they created a livelihood out of it. When we found a community within a very remote part of Andhra Pradesh called Chenchu, we worked with the RDT, the Rural Development Trust in Anantapur, to create a entrepreneurial venture for them. And these women would walk 12 kilometers each way to the forest to pick these broadleaf from the trees called Chenchu leaves, and then weave them into plates and saucers and all that, which I'm sure you have seen in local dhabas in India. So we said we need to improve this. So we bought them a pickup truck, and we bought them machinery to package these things nicely and neatly so that they could increase their productivity. It went up by about 75 or 80% because they didn't have to walk anymore. The truck would go and bring it, the truck would take it back to the market. So all they had to do is spend time. We built a 2,000 square foot, about the size of this room perhaps, maybe a little smaller, where they, instead of working at home, they could work together as a team and manufacture these things. The best part of that story is that about a year ago, a friend of mine was having a party at his house, and he was serving food in those plates. And I said, where did you get this from? And he said, I bought them at Patel Brothers. I said, you're kidding me. These people in villages are exporting this now to the US. So that's the power of creativity and leveraging simple technology to manufacture, help them become entrepreneurs. During COVID, we initially started shipping oxygen concentrator. Nitesh is here, I think I see him in the audience, and we talked, and Dr. Raj Shah and Bindu Kumar, who are our board members, we put together like 3,000 of these oxygen concentrators, and we shipped them to India, each one of them costing on our average about $600 or $700. And each one of them was helping one person, right, for breathing oxygen. And we said, this is not scalable. When 100 million people are suffering from COVID, so we got to have a better solution. So we worked with Arjun Malhotra, who is the chairman of a board of trustees, and he had invested in a company called Evolco that has used artificial intelligence to do some pre-diagnostics. The pre-diagnostics was a set of questions that they could ask the patient to answer. A doctor would come online, thanks to Dr. Raj Shah and about 30 other doctors who volunteered their time. And remember, we used to have kiosks in India where we would go to make a long distance call. So this telemedicine operation worked in a similar model, except that they carried it on a smartphone. And we gave them a complete kit, which cost about, about $1,000 per kit, okay? But we kept track of this as to how long does it take, how many patients. I think we impacted about 30,000 patients a month using these in 300 locations, and these 300 locations were run by village entrepreneurs who were trained how to use the medicine. So thanks to Raj Shah for that. So these are just examples of rural transformation. And not only that, I was talking to somebody here, and they said, my expertise is in supply chain management. I don't know if the gentleman is here in the audience. So I said, what we want to do? We get credibility when we can track exactly where your money is going. Ratan mentioned that 100% of your donation goes to the cause that you have identified. So if you gave us $100 for a water project, and let's say there are 10 people who have given $100 each, and that's $1,000, and maybe we can do a project. you really want to know if your $100 was spent on that project. So he said, I can use my software for supply chain management. We can tell you how many sources of money did you have, where did that money go, how was it. So that's my next project with Ratan. I want to put that in place for every dollar that we get from you, so we can track where it's going and how it's impacting. Now, he mentioned people shores. I can tell you that the projects that he has done in the US are extremely impactful. We actually had a Zoom call from the governor of Alabama, where they said, we have a lot of depressed areas. Can you come and help us? Okay, from the governor of Alabama. And we had a Zoom call, and we showed them what the platform can do for creating. Unfortunately, we don't have a clip. We had it earlier last year when we had a little fundraiser in Washington D.C., where this lady, came on board, and she said, I've come from a very poor family, and I had no education, but People Shores and Wheels gave me the opportunity to get a skill, and now I have a job where I can help my whole family. How can you measure the impact of that when you hear that? Okay, so we transform villages, we transform lives, we transform villages, and that's our thing, and that's what makes the IIT brand. So it's not my project, it's not Hiten's project, it's not Raj Shah's project, it's our projects. So when we talk about building the IIT brand, we want to answer the question, what have you done for your community? We want to say, look what we have done together. We are transforming lives, we are transforming communities, we are transforming villages, and we want to impact 180 million people in India by 2030. Okay, that's a measurable number, right? So we need all the help we can get. I think I've got 5 minutes left, so I'll leave it open for any questions. I don't know if anyone has any questions. I'll be happy to answer them. Yes, sir. Kitcha. Thank you. Thank you, Kitcha. In the absence of any questions, I'm going to recognize one other individual that I must, and that's a long-time friend of mine, someone that I respect and have a lot of regard for, and he's the director of IIT Tirupati. Satya, please stand up and take a bow. So what is inspiring about Satya is that each new IIT that comes out, whether you guys know it or not, the director has a lot of latitude on how he develops courses and the academic work. And Satya is a visionary. And if I'm not mistaken, this rural, going back to the villages is something that you have sort of instituted at IIT Tirupati. And that is very, very inspiring. And the other person who did that was Sudhir Jain, who is now the Chancellor, Vice Chancellor of BHU. And he was previously the director of IIT Gandhinagar, and every time he comes to the US, he makes sure that he comes and meets with us. And he has instituted a lot of programs within the IITs, so students, faculty and others can go back to the villages and work with them. There are other things that alumni have done. Raj Jaswa, who is a very successful entrepreneur in California, routinely takes students from IIT Gandhinagar and IIT Bombay to Aravalli district, where we have the Smart Village project, to identify problems that can be solved. And thanks to Hiten, we have created a strategic alliance with CII, which is the largest industry association in India, the Confederation of Indian Industries, and with the FIPA, the Federation of Indian Physicians in America, and most recently with FICCI, who actually brought 15 people to this conference, where we are talking about having a sort of a joint process of evaluating and implementing CSR driven projects, research projects at the IITs that can solve problems, and also to have CSR money available to us to go to these villages and do the kind of things that we've talked about. And most recently, which is the biggest feather in our cap, and where each one of you can participate, we had Nitin Gadkari on the Zoom call, and many of you participated in that. And at the end of the call, he said, I'm so inspired by what Wheels and Pan IIT is doing. I want you guys to help me create a think tank Because when these problems come up in transportation and when these problems come up with any projects that we are doing, we can just make one call to Pan IIT or Wheels and we can say, we need help. So there are people in this room, I don't know if he's here today or not, but Bharat Balasubramaniam, who was the Chief Technology Officer for Daimler-Benz, I was telling him about it. He said, I'm very passionate about transportation. Tell me what I can do. Think about it. I mean, the leading mind in the world, IIT Bombay 73 batch, Hostel 3 says, call me. That's the power of our network. That's the power of our connectivity. So please join us. Raj, you have a question, yeah?
Yeah, I have a mic here.
But if you allow me,
Yeah.
I want to say something to IITians.
You want to make?
Yeah.
And you might think, I'm not an IITian, I'm a medical graduate. What am I doing here in your community? Usually medical and technocrats don't merge together or come together. But really speaking, the message to all who are non-IITians, our life depends and has been improved by technology. Everything that we do, getting up in the morning, brushing your teeth and getting toothpaste all the way to when you go to sleep, everything that you do is touched by technology. Everything I do in my medical practice or in your profession, look at it. Everything what you're doing was brought in by technologists. So I am very passionate about marrying and knowing technology because that eventually makes me a better doctor. It makes me a better professional. That is one message. And Wills makes it possible for even non-IITians to fully participate and bring in the impact, taking advantage of technocrats. But for them, we would still be living in Stone Age.
Thank you, Doctor.
Second thing I want to say to IITians and all the professionals, particularly doctors who got education in India, remember, our education was to a great extent financed by taxpayers of India. Although you may not have a legal responsibility, I think morally you need to give back. And that's the message. I want to give it to all the doctors and all the professionals and all the IITians. Please, it's not, you must give back something. You got it from our taxpayer of India. Those poor people finance your education. That made you successful. So I couldn't get a platform to say on the main, but this is Wheels Global. I took this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you very much. I know I'm the person who's keeping you away from the next event, next session. So thanks again for taking the time. Please, I hope you learned something about what it is that we do for rural transformation with technology and how you can get engaged with the Wheels Corporation. Thank you very much.